Welcome to the Spa Hive podcast. We're your hosts, Julie Pankey
and Marianne Sassine, spa leaders, business strategists, and business besties who are pulling back the curtain on what it actually takes to grow a business and a life you don't secretly want to escape from.
This is where leadership meets honesty, where revenue meets relationships, and where we talk about the things no one puts on Instagram.
So, if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or a high achiever who's building something meaningful, but also navigating team dynamics, burnout, boundaries, and big goals, you're in the right place.
No highlight reels, no sugarcoating, just real conversations, practical strategy, and a little laughter along the way. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to the Spa Hive podcast. I'm here with my business bestie, Marianne. Good morning, Marianne.
Good morning, Julie. How are you?
I'm great.
Well, that's enthusiastic. I'm happy you're great.
This is a great episode. I feel like I'm into this time of year, and so this feels like a good episode for this time of year. We're going to be talking about spring cleaning your business and your
life. Throw it all in the kit and caboodle. Put it all in the kettle. Let's mix it up and see what happens. Yeah, so it's a great episode, great topic for now because it's officially spring. Probably as people are listening to this, spring started, as we discussed last week, March 20th at 10:46 a.m. So this is exciting. Happy spring if it's 10:47 a.m. wherever you're at. And if it's not, just get ready because it's coming for you.
Right. It is. It is coming for you whether you're ready or not. And weather is, getting nicer. It's springier weather. So, I mean, springtime is a good time. I mean, I love to do a fall cleanup too, but
Yes.
springtime is a good time, not just to like clean out your closets. In my instance, it always means washing windows because if you have animals, you have nose prints, and I have a big animal, Bronx.
I was going to say, what do you have, a horse?
And I swear he licks every door and window in my house. We have a lot of windows.
So you've got to clean a lot of windows.
Not just the high up windows, right? But we have a lot of French doors. We have a lot of floor to ceiling windows just because of, where we live. So that's always on my list. And the other windows because they're full of, the screens are always full of muck and the windowsills are so if you're like Marianne and you throw up your window, most of us don't throw up our windows until this time of year. And then when you throw up your window, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to clean my windows. So it's not just about doing your closets and your windows. It's about cleaning out the things that maybe don't serve you so well or you don't want to carry into the new season in your business, in your life, how we protect ourselves from burnout and setting boundaries. So, I mean, spring always gets the credit, right, for fresh starts. And lately, I've been noticing for myself, in small ways, things in my calendar sometimes feel heavy, not necessarily exciting, or decisions I make out of habit instead of being in alignment. Which, remember, this is my year
word
of being in alignment.
Yes, not your healing error.
And then sometimes the energy that I'm carrying around with me I'm like, "Who are you? Like, you're not even, like, yourself." So, like, I had this moment recently that I thought, it's really hard to build something new on something on top of something that's already unstable. So, in order to continue to grow and evolve, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, you have to kind of clear out a little bit first, clear that space so that you can allow room for growth.
For new growth in the spring.
Right.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, Julie. Let's talk about some signs when it's time for a life mindset business cleanup. So, some signs when you're like, something's feeling off. What is this, right? So, you feel busy but not productive. Preach that, right?
Right.
You're resenting parts of your life or your business. I mean, I feel like, yes, that's a good one, but I also feel like there's
It's
probably always times where that might be true, right?
also feel like you can't give your kids back.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You can't. I mean, you can, but that's not something we recommend. So, for business based, right, your offers feel outdated or heavy, maybe they really served a purpose in the dead of winter and now they kind of just you're like, I'm not feeling it right now. For business wise, a sign is your team is a little bit misaligned. Maybe there's a missing piece. Maybe you need to ramp up, or, if you were super busy in the winter, maybe it's time to reassess and restructure. And then, this is a good one for life, business, all of it. You're making decisions from pressure and not clarity,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
which is usually then you make the wrong decision. Womp womp.
Always.
And then I like, if we're thinking about life, right? It's the constant I'm behind feeling. Like you're moving, but you're like I'm still behind. You know,
Right.
I still need to do so much. I mean, so maybe really I need a life spring cleanup.
One reason why we use our planners is
Yes.
to really help manage that overwhelm. And like the other day, I was feeling super overwhelmed and it was nighttime. And, I really try to create like a nighttime routine for myself because I do see a difference in like my overall everything,
Yeah.
eating well, my, commitment to self, my commitment to like work that I do. And for me, it starts with like a good evening routine. And so the other night I was spiraled with on my phone. I hadn't taken my last bit of herbs. I didn't, do my like warm shower. Like I watched a bunch of TV until late. All the things that don't make me feel good.
Yeah.
And then I started to like spiral about all the things that I have to do.
Right.
And so I was in bed and I'm like on my phone and Gary's sound asleep. And so I said, okay, you've got to take this control back, girl. And so I got out my notebook, not my planner, but my notebook. And, I'm laying in bed. I got my pencil and I'm like brain dumping, which,
Brain dump it
this
all out.
I'm showing Marianne, but this is a one whole page of brain dump. I
Yeah.
mean, and it was just like some of it is personal, some of it is work related, some of it is, somewhat like mindless. Most of it is though work related and like things that I had to do personally, right? Because you even think about, I have to place an order on Amazon for replacement items that we buy on a normal basis, right? And, my husband's like, oh, we're going to be out of dog bones soon. And I'm like, okay, okay. Our dog, toothpaste. He's like, what am I supposed to do? Not brush their teeth? And I'm like, well, that's probably what most people do. And so then I felt the pressure. Like, why am I the only one that can order this stuff on Amazon?
Don't even
You know,
get me started.
like this is something that someone else could do.
Don't get me started. It is a toilet paper issue in my house. For some reason, we're always running out or running low on toilet paper. Always. Always. And I love it. It's not like, all right, let me just, it's always telling me we're running out. And I'm like, how? Like, I don't, like, I swear, if I was like a singleton, I would not, I would probably use that same amount of toilet paper for like 7 months. I don't understand how we go through so much toilet paper, but
Right.
I'm completely right there with you. It is, you're just like, what? Am I the only one that knows how to order the dog toothpaste? Like, what's going on? Why are you even
Because
telling me?
all you have to do, right, is go into the Amazon
That's the
and
thing.
it's in past orders.
Yeah,
So like reorder, bing, bing, bang. It's like a
that's the
two
thing.
second thing. And I was going to do it that night on my phone. And I was going to do some of the things on my to-do list quickly on my phone. And
Yeah,
I was like, no,
yeah.
it's over past 10 o'clock. And if you get on this phone and start doing tasks on your phone, it's going to be then 11 o'clock. And then you have to try to wind down, and your heart rate's going to be high all night long.
And then it's going to throw off all my data.
Shows up all my data. Today, all my data had crowns on them.
Oh, does that mean you're a queen? You're slaying it?
I'm slaying the Aura Ring data.
Oh man, my data probably for last night is like, no, you should crawl back in bed. Just go go back. Hire a babysitter, hire someone. Don't do anything today and go back in bed. What a life of luxury that would be.
I know, right? So I think you have some stats about this.
Yeah. Yeah, a study out of American Psychology Association, they did a study that said about 77% of people report feeling physical symptoms from stress. And yeah, no crap, right?
Right,
Like
right.
tension, fatigue, headaches. And this is exactly what we were talking about last week when we were talking about our nervous system
Yep.
episode. So if you haven't listened to that, go back just 1 week and take a listen, because it really gets into the science, because we're scientists. It gets into the science of your nervous system. But
Or at
this
least we play one in the podcast world.
yeah. I mean, that's the same thing. And then this one really got me. The average person has 15 to 20 open mental loops at any given time. So if you always feel like your brain has 47 open tabs, it probably does.
Right,
It
right.
probably does.
Probably
Because
is
we're thinking about
real.
the toilet paper, we're thinking about the dog toothpaste, then we're thinking about making cool podcast episodes, and then we got other things we're working on, right?
Right. And then we're thinking about fun. Like, what am I going to do this summer that I
Yeah,
want
then
to
you're thinking
pencil
about
in
fun.
that's fun?
And then you're thinking about, oh, your family, you got things going on. You've got 20,000 open tabs. Not
You
even
got
15
E.
to 20
You got
anymore. It's 20,000. Yeah. So it escalated quickly over here from 15 to 20 to 20,000 open tabs. But I think what we should talk about is a quick spring reset, quick 5 easy steps our listeners can do to kind of reset the framework for their life and work and mindset for spring.
Yeah, so three key points. So what are we going to eliminate going into spring?
I'm gonna eliminate buying toilet paper. What are you going to eliminate, Julie Pinky?
I'm gonna eliminate buying anything from Amazon. No, I'm just kidding. What am I
We're
gonna
not that good.
eliminate? So my spring cleaning, what am I going to eliminate? I always try to dive deep into these questions, but I think, I'm going to eliminate some of the perfection pressure that I put on myself. Because I am only one cog in a wheel of many cogs most of the time.
I've never heard that term. A cog? What is a cog of a wheel? Wheel cog. Oh,
Oh, maybe that's a Gen X
oh,
term.
oh, I see. Okay, so wheel cogs are the tooth projections on the rim of a gear or sprocket
So
that
when you're
engage.
so when you're a cog, you're a cog in the wheel. It refers to a person who plays a small, routine, and often replaceable role within a large organization or system. So I try to remember that I'm just one cog. I'm not the entire wheel, and I can't make everyone's world turn
I
myself.
see. I see. So you're reminding yourself that you're replaceable.
No, not exactly. I mean,
Okay,
everyone's replaceable, but I'm reminding myself that I am a perfectionist and think that I can make the whole wheel turn by myself.
oh, but you need many cogs to make the wheel work.
Yes. Yes. And that I'm only one
Ah,
cog, although lots of times I could be the biggest, strongest cog. I'm one of many cogs in a wheel. So I need to remind myself that the pressure doesn't have to only be on me. That's
I
something
see.
that's I put onto myself, right? That no one but me projects onto me. So you're also one cog in a wheel, and the pressure of buying toilet paper does not always
Yes,
have to be on you.
that's true. That is true. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing to remember. Um, okay. Yeah, cog.
And
Got it.
you learned something today. Some of our listeners may know, some of our listeners may not know what cog means, but everyone learned today.
Now they know. Now they know.
Some things you might think about, like eliminating the habit of saying yes before you actually like check in with yourself. Do I really want to do this? Not just always say yes, or because someone else thinks it's a good idea. We all have our different things, but yeah. Marianne's eliminating buying toilet paper. I'm eliminating the feeling of perfectionism, at least for today or for this podcast recording. What is the one thing that you're going to simplify?
Buying toilet paper.
No.
No. I would like to simplify, and this is kind of going on what we were talking about prior to hitting the record button, and this is completely life-based and not business-based. But I want to simplify meals
Mhm.
and like the food aspect in my house. And really, I want to simplify it for the adults, right? My kids eat pretty simple. Don't come after me, right? I come after myself enough. So, get in line behind me. But for the adults, right? Like I want to make it simple, but I want us to have like more nutrition
Mhm.
in it, because I think it's something really easy to kind of think that you can still eat like when you're in your 20s,
It
when
is
you're
easy.
in your 30s, and for George really approaching 40. So, I really want to simplify the food, but I want it to be like good food and like nutritious. So that is something that I'm looking at and trying to get a hold of it. But that goes with exactly what we were talking about, was preparing, right? It's just
Right.
hard because everything you need a prep.
Yeah, I mean, does George like to cook or anything?
That's hilarious. No. It's so funny because I was just talking to my sisters about this, and, like, all of their and I'm not trying to compare, well, I guess I
No.
am, but, everybody has their strengths, right?
Yes.
But all of their husbands have, like, certain meals that they make really great, and, like, some of the husbands are really good cooks.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they make really great food, and so the other day I was like, "You know what? I'm getting a little tired of making breakfast, lunch, and dinner for my husband every single day."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, but there's gotta be a meal that he makes really well. Like, what is his meal, that is a go-to for him that he can make for the whole family?" I was like, "There's nothing that I would wanna eat, right?" So, like,
Grilled
he can
cheese?
No, so that's the worst is, like, grilled
No.
cheese. No, grilled cheese is one of those things he tried to make me, like, when we were dating, and it was just a disaster. It was a disaster.
Hmm,
Yeah.
interesting. Well, it's funny because I feel like I'm jealous sometimes, even like my acupuncturist, she's like, "So you do most of the cooking?" She's like, "My husband works from home, so, he does most of the cooking." And then my friend in town is like, "Look, I told Dave, like, I did cooking, the first 25 years of our marriage. Now he could do cooking the next 25 years." And I'm like, and there's several of my friends that their husbands do the cooking, and I'm like, what's wrong with this picture? Now, he will cook if he is asked to cook.
Yes.
He says that I am too controlling in the kitchen
Imagine
and
that.
that I want to do it all.
Yeah. I can
And
understand that.
so if Gary did do the cooking, so let's say I'm coming home and I say, I don't have anything planned, and we either order out or, it's very simple, right? He'll get a piece of fish, he'll get a vegetable, and he'll get a starch, and that's that. It'll be very simple. So he doesn't do complicated. He can, and he has. He's baked. I mean, he bakes bread every
Right,
week.
right.
He does bake bread every week, but I don't know. I feel like if I said, "You know what? This week you do the cooking. I am not going to do the cooking." I feel like I wouldn't know what to do with myself without planning, prepping, making my grocery list.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that ends up being a big portion of week.
Which is completely fine, like, when you enjoy it, right? And it's fine. It's great to take enjoyment in those things, I think. But when it becomes a burden,
Sometimes it feels
sometimes
like a burden.
yeah, you need to shake it up. Like we have done in the past some some mail order
Yeah.
boxes,
Like
right? And
Hello
we've
Fresh or
yeah,
whatever.
and we've
Yeah.
done the whole gamut of them. Like when we were first married, we would do like the one that took the most steps and you were
Yeah.
like really cooking. And the last one we ended up doing when, I think Penny was a baby, we did one was the one where they literally just sent you frozen meals
Right, right,
and we
right.
reheated it. So we've done them all. Like I'm a chef too. I literally just need something. But maybe that is an idea too to kind of switch things up. Like if you're starting to feel like that is a burden, maybe that's a good tool. I mean, that's sort of what we were talking about earlier, right? It's like everything is working,
Right,
but things kind of feel clunky or burdensome or heavy. So
right,
this is a
right,
good time to reimagine those systems. And maybe if it's just for a small period of time, reinvent them or, just tweak them a little bit.
right. So I'm going to simplify. I say that I want to simplify my calendar because a lot of things are stacked on it. I'm not sure if I realistically can do that, but I try, and this is a good topic, so I'm going to steal it. Is, I try to do simple meals. And
Yeah.
so I feel less stressed when I'm doing a one pot, or a sheet pan, or my little trick. And I want you all, now that it's spring, I'm going to let you in on my little trick
Uh-oh,
is,
here we go.
is My main dish is a grill item, and
Then you don't have
Gary
to make it.
does the grilling. So I only have to do like a side dish.
See, I like that trick, but you know who does the grilling in my
I
house?
know you do the grilling, but
It's me. But I do like to grill because I get to be outside while I'm
true,
cooking. And
true, true.
that really does feed my soul when I'm outside.
Right.
So maybe you're right. Maybe I need to get some things to grill up too because that'll make it more fun for me.
Right, right. And when we were in South Carolina 2 weeks in a row, like 5 out of 7 meals were like grill meals, and Gary's like, "I don't know if I like this because I'm really doing all the cooking." And I'm like, "That's why I love the good weather."
Yep, perfect.
Because, you can grill salmon, we grilled veggie skewers, we grilled shrimp skewers, grilled chicken, whatever. Um and it felt like it gave me a tiny bit of break. So now that it's spring, that's what I'm going to simplify a little bit. And I am going to try to simplify my calendar and buffer in a little bit more time in between things so that
Yeah,
I'm not rushing from thing to thing to thing, which is something that I tend to do. And then the last thing that we can talk about is like the third step is kind of, and it's not, Marianne's going to go over the actual steps, but what am I going to recommit to? And I'm recommitted to food prepping. So
I
that
think
is
that's great.
something since we've been back, I've been not like willy nilly, just being like, what am I going to eat?
Yeah,
I am taking that little extra time to pre-plan my meals for the week, specifically breakfast and lunches,
yeah,
because dinner is a family meal. And of course, I plan that every week always.
right.
But a lot of times at lunch, I either don't eat lunch or I'm like, Gary eats the leftovers, and I'm like, what am I going to eat? So I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I have a handful of crackers and some Scandinavian swimmers and a banana.
yeah. That's not, that's not, and I really do enjoy lunch. I probably enjoy lunch almost more than I enjoy dinner. So I think that's a great goal. I love that. I love your recommitting to that.
Yeah, what are you going to recommit to?
I am recommitting to reading. I am recommitting to reading. Feel like I had taken a break for a
Yeah.
bit. I just wasn't feeling it. And I also
Mhm.
think that I was finding some really good shows that I liked. Which I think is fine. Like, I really enjoy watching TV, so I try not to be like, "Oh, I should be reading instead of watching this show,"
Right,
because
right,
both are, like, hobbies that I enjoy. But I
right.
was finding, like, some good TV, like, not even, like, reality, but, like, some documentaries and things like that, and
Yeah.
that's what I really like. But now I'm getting back to reading, so I just finished, and this was one that I did in, like, a day. Like, I literally just ignored everything.
Like, I don't know how you do that.
Ignore everything. It's really bad. Well, you know what? But getting lost in a book, there's worse things to get lost in, I think. So, whatever. But it was The Mad Wife. And let me see
Yes.
who it was by. It's The Mad Wife by Megan Church. And newly released just last year. But it was great. It was actually one of those books where I had to reread like the last 30 pages because I had to be like, wait, am I reading this right? Talk about like plot twist. And it was good. It's funny because it kind of goes into all this meal prepping and life rearranging we're talking about because it was based in like the 1950s, right?
Yeah,
When you were really a housewife and tried to do other things, but that was your main thing. So you better have that dinner on the table.
true.
So it kind of goes into this life spring cleaning we're talking about. But
Interesting.
yeah, so that book kind of got me jazzed about reading again. But I want to get back in to reading. I have a few books on my nightstand that I need to finish up. And then I want to, be gung ho about it. Because it really does. I really do enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. I know, I feel like I go all gung ho, and then I feel like I need a little break for some reason. So, like, I think I read 4 books while I was in South Carolina. So,
Wow.
January through to March,
Yeah.
but then I took a break.
Yeah.
And so now I am on another book, but I'm like, well, I can't take breaks because my goal is 26 books in the year and I never read books that fast. So I can't let up. I got to keep reading.
But it's also supposed to be an enjoyment. So,
Well, and that's why I need to sometimes take a break because when I read, so many kind of so fast for me, that I was like, I need a little like break from reading. Plus once being back home, I'm more into like my normal routine.
yeah.
So then, I feel like I don't have as much time to read. Like while I was in South Carolina, I would take an hour out of the afternoon, to read, which now I probably don't as much. But now that it's spring, I think that I can for sure maybe take some time. I am reading Hello Beautiful right now.
Who's it by? Is it good?
It is by Anne Napolitano.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm not quite halfway through yet. I do think that there is going to be some interesting twists and turns because I can see, sort of like the plot starting to come to a point where some things are going to happen. So yeah, let's see. So far,
Huh.
so good. I mean, I
It
don't know.
says, yeah, it seems interesting. It says the stories of modern retelling inspired by Louisa May Alcott's Little
Yeah,
Women.
Little Women. Yeah.
That's kind of neat. I like that.
Yeah. So far, it's good. I know, like I said, I know some stuff is, you know, gonna hit the fan soon. That's when a book either grabs me or doesn't grab me.
Yeah.
There's always a point, and it's usually like maybe halfway through or a little bit before halfway through. I feel like before that, I'm just reading, laying the groundwork, and then I'm waiting for you to grab me. And then
Right.
and some books will grab me, and then I'll read it a little faster because I want to find out what happens. And so it's right at that point that you can tell that something's shifting. Now I want to know what's going to shift. We'll
I
see
love it.
how that goes. I'll let you know when I'm done reading it.
Yeah.
It
Keep
is
us posted.
it is an Oprah's book club book, which I generally don't love those selections,
Yeah.
but this was one, kind of on my book list that I created last year for this year with the help of my chat GPT on, with the ranking of the books that I read from last year, what
Right.
kind of would fit into my style that I'm
I love that.
creating, my reading style. So, Marianne, before we wrap up,
Yes.
give us a quick rundown of the spring reset framework for life and work that our listeners can follow to head into spring super strong.
Let's do it, Julie. So, 5 steps for a quick spring reset. Step number 1 is an audit. Duh. So what feels heavy, forced, or outdated? This is where you're going to get honest with yourself, which sometimes is hard. Step 2, eliminate. What can you remove immediately? Unfortunately, I cannot immediately remove buying toilet paper, but not everything. Don't eliminate everything, right? Just one thing. It doesn't need to be a major life overhaul today. Simplify. What can be made easier? Now that I can do with toilet paper, right? I could maybe even do a subscribe type of thing on Amazon and it will just send it to me. That might be an idea. But decision fatigue is real. It's super real. Studies show that more decisions we make, the worse they get as the day goes on. That's a little bit bleak, but so if your life feels hard, it might just be too many decisions. That's a good one.
Right.
Step number 4, realign. What actually fits the season you're in? What worked last year might not work with your life right now. And guess what? That's okay. So I really like that realign. It's your word, right, Julie, of the year?
Right.
Alignment. Yeah. So step 5, our final step, is what boundaries can keep you going with this. So what boundaries can keep this clean? And this is the part that no one really wants to do, right? Boundaries are hard. We've talked about
Mm-hmm.
them time and time again. And because it says no, it's saying no, setting limits and not over explaining things.
Right. Right. Well, it's funny. I was talking to a vendor yesterday who called me to see if I was going to iSpa, and I said, no, I don't think that I am. Right. So I guess we're pre recording. So, you know, why didn't I go to iSpa would be the current day question. But anyway, I said, no, I'm not going to go. Um, and so then I said, like, of course, I always feel like I have to explain, right? I always have to, like, give the reasonings why. But I just said, no, I don't think I'm going to be able to go this year. There's a lot going on. And then I talked about all the great and exciting things happening and going on, not as an excuse, but the person was like, oh my God, now I know why you
Yeah.
were not attending iSpa. And I was like, well, those aren't really the reasons. But now that I say them out loud, it is justification for my decision. And
Yes.
so I felt like, I never say the things out loud, really. It's, in my head back and
Yep.
forth. And so normally when I say I'm not doing something, then I feel like I have to explain why. And in this instance, just in the course of normal conversation, the person was like, whoa, like there's so much on your plate. I get why. And I didn't even feel like I had to explain.
Right.
So I think, knowing that, we put these expectations on ourselves, right? And that, you don't need to explain yourself really to people, when you're not doing something and when it doesn't serve you and doesn't align with your purpose, with, what you're trying to achieve, whether it's, your monthly goal, weekly goal, daily goal, like it might not align today, but tomorrow it could align.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's a wrap up for our spring cleaning, our business, life, and energy for today. Thanks for joining us. As always, we're so grateful that you took time out of your busy day to spend with us. And we'll look forward to seeing you here next time live in the Spa Hive. Thank you,
Yeah,
Marianne. Have a great day.
you are welcome. We will throw the 5 steps down in our show notes so that you can do your spring cleaning with us. And also, for any of our business owners out there, we also have a great resource. It's the spring cleaning business checklist. And it really has everything from A to Z to spring clean your business. So we'll leave those 2 resources down in our show notes. Go check them out. And as always, make sure you're following us on social media as well so we can chat over there too.
And listen to our new outro if you haven't. It's
That's true.
awesome.
Listen to our new outro. All right, Julie. Bye, Julie. Bye, listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us today in the Spa Hive.
If this episode sparked an idea, made you think differently, or just made you feel a little less alone in business or life, share it with someone who might need it too.
Don't forget to follow the podcast so you never miss a conversation.
And check out the show notes for links, resources, and ways to stay connected with us, including the Spa 101 course taught by our very own Julie Pinky.
We're so grateful you're part of this community.
and we'll see you next time.